Hey, Mark Allen here, and thanks for watching Four Color Commentary. Another video just to kind of catch you up on stuff that you probably already know, but I want to talk about it, which is what this YouTube channel is about, stuff I want to talk about. And but there's just things on the internet related to comic book movie news and comic books, of course, but some things that just have me jacked up and jazzed up, and I know have other fans excited as well. But the first one is I found a Sci-Fi Wire video, and I'm going to be putting up links to all of these. I'm gonna test my skill, such as it is, and say it's going to be right here. The link's going to be right here. So we'll see how that works out. The links will always be right here. Ready? Right there. All right. So the first one is a link to a sci-fi video, which is with an interview, about a 20-minute interview with John Byrne. And he's talking all about the revamping of Superman and the Superman mythos that he did years ago, back in the late 80s. A run I remember very fondly, and I was at the height. I've always enjoyed the work of John Byrne. John Byrne has always been kind of a polarizing figure, but he's always had his rabid followers, and he has done some amazingly landmark material in comics. And so this is just an interview where he's talking about his experience revamping Superman, remaking Superman for a new generation, and a lot of the things that John Byrne did with the character and with his mythos and with his legend, so to speak. A lot of those things are honored today still. I mean, he was the main figure involved, I believe, in revamping Superman's just his whole story. And so anyway, it's a great interview with John Byrne. Head over and see that. And then another thing, there's a first look this week, just released in the last 24 hours. It's being called a leaked trailer for the new Venom movie. And I'm like a lot of other fans. When I first saw the trailer a few weeks ago in the theaters, I was kind of nonplussed. Now I'm still waiting to see if this movie gets an R rating. I know a lot of people are pulling for that. Personally, I'm old-fashioned. I believe that comic book movies ought to be accessible to almost everybody, if not everybody. But I also realize the elements of this particular character, there are some horrific elements. Whether or not I'll see it is up in the air. Depends on what the R rating is for. But anyway, the Venom, I had my doubts about it at first because the first trailer that showed up in the theaters, or the trailer that showed up in the theaters, didn't show Eddie Brock fully engulfed in the symbiote. And this one does. This new leaked trailer does. And the reason I cast a little bit of doubt on it being leaked is because there's been no evidence that Sony has tried to clean up the internet of any traces of that video. So I kind of leaked, but it's cool. It might be strategically leaked, all right? But it's a great video, looks great, and anyway, it got me started thinking about, I used to own, as an old comic guy, I used to own Amazing Spider-Man 300, bought it new, off the stands or in the comic shop, I can't remember, but bought it new, and owned it myself, and sold it somewhere in the early to mid 90s, as for about $60, and so here's a story, because I like to tell stories. Here's the story of that. So I live in Oklahoma, and I was attending seminary classes in a particular Oklahoma town. I won't mention which one, because I don't want to call attention to this particular bookstore. But this particular bookstore / comic store, I would frequent on once a week, and when I would go in for my classes. And I was a student in need of cash. And so I took my Amazing Spider-Man 300 in just to see what this comic book store owner would sell it for, or would buy it for, would give me for it. Knowing even then that, for a fan, for someone who's not in the business of buying and selling comics, the last person really you want to sell it to is a shop owner, because they have to make money. And I'm appreciative of that, and I'm sympathetic to that. And so I was expecting him to offer me no more than 50 to 60% of actual value. And I knew what he was selling his for. He offered me about 10%. And I said, I politely implied that was kind of an insulting offer. And he, not so politely, said, well, then take your business elsewhere. And I said, okay. And I walked out of the store, again, politely. And unbeknownst to me, there was another customer that was listening to this whole exchange, and he followed me out and asked me what I wanted for that Amazing Spider-Man 300, which was, by the way, in not near mint, but mint condition. I mean, it was nice. And I said, well, I want $60. And he handed me $60. And I handed him the Amazing Spider-Man 300. Again, saddened about that today. But at the time, it felt like a victory. And at that moment, after the exchange took place, that shop owner promptly stuck his head out the door and said, don't either one of you ever come back to my store again. We said, okay, and we left. All right. He had his comic book. I had my $60. You know, we were happy. All of that having been said, not being able to afford an Amazing Spider-Man 300 these days, I went to my local comic shop. Didn't realize that they had done this, but I picked up the True Believers copy of Amazing Spider-Man 300, entitled Venom vs. Spider-Man. It has the same great McFarlane cover, even the great Spider-Man image, which I think was is a Ron Friends image there. I became even more nostalgic as I began to flip through the pages of this comic, remembering the original story. And here's the thing, I remembered one of the reasons why Todd McFarlane's Venom is still, to me, the best Venom visually. And it has to do with the teeth. Now, I've traced this back, and ever since, at least I believe Eric Larson was the first one to draw Venom with the shark-like animalistic teeth, those pointed, jagged teeth. I don't think that McFarlane did that, even in Venom's second story that he drew. But here's the way McFarlane drew Venom originally. Look at that in this panel right up here. Look at those nice, flat, human, just elongated and slightly askew and too big, kind of Joker-like teeth. Creepy stuff. And that's what made it, so it was in part what made it so creepy, was that it was, you know, he was more human-like. He wasn't animalistic, even in his cries of pain there. You see the large, regular-looking teeth, but still oversized. And this was just the reason why I still like Todd McFarlane's version of Venom. Still creepy, still scary, but you know, just different from the way Venom is portrayed by every other artist since. So anyway, the leaked Venom trailer, and it's the Hybrid Network video. You can go to it here, all right, and then you can just kind of see what they say about it. They don't actually show the whole trailer, but certainly look that trailer up. You can find it on all over YouTube, and it may very well get you excited if you haven't seen it already. And then finally, Kevin, hey, you're not supposed to be talking. Sorry about that. I'm playing with my computer, as you can tell. Kevin Feige. Now, I used to Feige. I've always pronounced it Feige, and I think on the Collider video that I'm getting ready to link to right here, they pronounce it Feige. Anyway, Kevin Feige says, you know, that they're going to Marvel's finally looking at an Eternals movie, and he is they are looking at an Eternals movie and introducing Nova as well. The Collider video I'm directing you to is basically, it says Marvel Studios is considering Eternals for Phase 4. All right, makes me excited about having this right here, even though I'll probably never sell it again. I'll probably never sell another first appearance again unless we're in dire financial straits. But this is actually a line that I only recently acquired the run of Eternals. Listen, any Bronze Age Marvels, especially first appearances and even runs that you can acquire now, do it. Because this Marvel movie thing, this comic book movie thing, it isn't stopping anytime soon, folks. This is a line I didn't read as a kid. So I'm going back and enjoying this great Kirby stuff. Now when I say great Kirby stuff, all stuff by Kirby is great on some level, okay? But like, I'll just tell you, I'm one of those people who I can't read New Gods. New Gods is for looking at. New Gods doesn't read well, in my opinion. Now, I've just offended a bunch of New Gods fans. That's assuming a bunch of people watch my videos, which, but you know, I don't mean to offend anybody. But Kirby himself, his art, his designs and everything, this great stuff. You know, you can't. I mean, you have to admit that on some level, Kirby's stuff was genius. Even the stuff that can't be read, which can't be easily read, which you can't say that about any other artist, I don't think. But anyway, so the Eternals run, I have that, and I'm glad to have that because I'm excited. I'm actually excited about an Eternals movie. Listen, I believe that anything, even if it doesn't translate that well to comic books, something great could be done with it on the movie screen. It's all about the creativeness of the people behind the project. Secondly, you know, I think there's something to be said for the quality of comics in general from 40 years ago versus the quality of comics today. And the quality of some of the writing that comes out of Hollywood today. Hollywood has jumped on this comic book bandwagon. They see there's a bunch of great stories, and they're using them, and they're getting into it, especially where the Marvel movies are concerned. Like I said, I don't think this comic book movie thing is over. I know some people are saying, you know, it's been a decade, and it has been a decade now of some of the Marvel movies, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But there's so much more to mine. There's so much more to dig up and get into and introduce on the big screen. I don't think it's over. I don't think it's anywhere near over, and I'm happy about that. I just hope the movies keep their overall quality. But so anyway, the Eternals movie, they're seriously considering that now, and it looks like it will probably happen if Feige or Phage or whatever his name is behind it. It'll probably happen. But also, this guy, Nova. This is another one that I've acquired just in the last couple of years. But this is a series that I read as a kid, hit and miss. I didn't read every issue, but I loved the villains that some consider so lame these days, like the Sphinx and Diamond Head and Powerhouse and those guys. I loved those villains, and loved that Nova had his own cast of villains, you know, and like Spider-Man did, his own arch nemesis, and so I read a lot of these Nova comics as a kid, enjoyed them. So this is nostalgia. This is just going back and getting those again. And I have that run again. Have acquired that in the last couple of years. But I'm excited about this, and now they'll mention in the Colliders video that they had talked about the possibility of introducing Nova in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which I would have thought would have been a very would have been a very appropriate thing to do. I mean, there was the Nova Corps, there was Nova Prime, there was, you know, at least a mention of Nova, the Earth, the superhero on Earth. But anyway, never happened. But it looks like it's going to happen, and that's exciting to me. Anyway, there you go. Just a few things floating around the internet, and again, I'll have those links up there, linked to the Collider video, the Nova video, and I probably just pointed to nothing, because I probably just already put it up there. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for watching 4Color Commentary. Subscribe, tell your friends. Feel free to link to this video or link this video to any of your videos. Man, and just thanks for watching. Comic books, all that whole world, the movies, everything. Lots of fun to be into, especially these days with the general public saying, hey, these are cool stories. These are cool characters. This is a lot of fun. Makes it fun to be a comic book character. Thanks for watching. Come back next time.